Mayday for engine 28 officer.
Mayday, Mayday. All companies retain radio silence and stand by for Mayday transmission.
All officers account for every member of your company and report to the front of the building except for the companies involved in the risk. Command the fire alarm. We have found a missing member, but we are going into defensive operations. Tell everybody to retreat from the building, but we have found the member.
The verse that I absolutely love is Philippians 1:21, and it's for me to live as Christ and to die as gain. And just saying that what I do on this earth, I'm going to do for Christ, and you know, if I die, so be it. I know where I'm going, and if I have to give my life for whatever reason, you know, I'm secure, and I'm going to just live that way and serve that way.
It was chaos. There was a lot to think about, a lot going on, a lot of nerves. Everything was moving twice as fast as it normally does, and I was moving half the speed I normally do.
So my first question for you is, what's your name and commanding position?
Billy Ashworth. I'm your grandfather. I'm retired Tulsa TFD. Took a gentleman out of a car accident a long time ago. Didn't know whether he made it. Called in life flight to transport him from Creek County to here. He was hurt bad. He showed up at the fire station, goodness, probably a year later. Had lost his right leg, but was very grateful to be alive. And had that happen a few times. People come in, you just didn't know whether they made it after you lost contact with them. But they, you know, you come in and you get to find out, hey, we saved them.
I like that at the end of the shift, I go home and I feel good about what I've done. I know that what I've done helped somebody else or made somebody else's day better.
My favorite thing about being a firefighter is I love the opportunity to serve the community and to just be able to use the talents and the training that I've gotten to help people, to make someone's life a little better, to ease their pain a little bit.
I mean, we did things from saving people's life that was down full arrest with heart attacks. That, you know, they'd come back and say, hey, thank you, to, you know, delivering babies. Done that a few times too, so yeah, just good things.
We had a cardiac arrest that happened just down the road. It was actually at the intersection here at 51st and Yale. And we worked the guy. He had just collapsed, was complete arrest. Got pulses back while we put him in the ambulance, and heard that he was doing well. And then his sister, he was a businessman from Georgia, and his sister came by to visit us. And that was just such an amazing feeling. We don't get to see the results of what we do a lot of times, but that was we actually got to see how that affected her, because obviously she was grateful. So that's probably going to stick with me more than anything. I
knew when I was a child that this is what I wanted to do. My uncle, my mom's youngest brother, he's a firefighter. My grandpa, I had a brother that was a firefighter also, and so I was around it a little bit. But as a child, I had a lot of Tonka toys. And one of my toys was a fire truck that had an actual water tank with a pump on it. And I would literally build little stick houses, put them on fire, and put them out with my fire truck. It was just something I wanted to do. My father was a fireman, and I just felt like I could do so much more. I could really help people and, get an opportunity to serve in just a lot of different ways. And so it was just such an obvious choice for me. And I had to work hard at it, but it was so worth every second it took to get on.
We had a house fire a couple years ago, and we were fighting the fire in the attic, or sent to the attic to go find the fire. And the conditions were not good up there, and myself and another firefighter who was right behind me, after we had crawled into the attic, we had a flashover, an event where the whole attic basically caught fire all at the same time. So we were engulfed in flames and had to get out quickly, and not right it didn't hit me at the moment, just how scary that should have been, but in the following days, it really hit me what could have happened, and after going home and seeing my family, it made a big impression on me. Whenever we got the call, we just rushed out and got them. We beat the company that's usually there out the gate and got to the fire first. And so me, my captain, and another private were making our way down the hallway. Well, a window broke between us and the room that was on fire. And so this huge fireball comes out and just engulfs my helmet. And later, my captain had told me when he looked up, my head was just on fire. And I didn't really feel it. Our gear is so good, I didn't get burned. But after we got the fire put out and came out, my gear was smoking from being so hot. And the captain grabs me and he starts yelling at me. He's like, "Are you okay? You're all burned up." And I'm just thinking, my gosh, this is it. I've burnt myself. I don't even know it, but it just turns out my gear was just smoking. But that was kind of unnerving for a second. My saddest memory, you'd think it would be somebody dying or something like that, but it wasn't that. It was on a routine medical call. We were in an apartment, or actually a hotel room, extended stay hotel room nearby, and
smoke filling her apartment, everybody.
This will be good.
we went in to help an adult on some medical issue, and when you walk in, like when you walk into a hotel room, a lot of times there's a coat closet or something right there on the side, and there was a coat closet in this one, and it was just a real shallow, small closet, and they had taken the doors off, pulled the doors off, and made this tiny little space into a bed, and that's where their kids slept every night. And so we were in at 3 in the morning for parents that were having some issues, and seeing that kid, as a 3 or 4 year old kid, having to sleep in this coat closet with just rags basically, that probably affected me more than anything. And that's because I have a 3 or 4 year old at home, and They just touch base, you know.
My saddest memory while working as a firefighter was it was a call I hadn't been on very long. I'd say maybe a year and a half. There was a 13-year-old girl that was hit by a truck on Yale. She was crossing the street, getting a candy bar, and when the truck hit her, it basically crushed her skull. And I remember going up to her and putting a C-collar on her. And whenever you put a C-collar on somebody, you're holding their head in line with their spine. And I just remember sliding my glove under her head and just feeling that crushed skull. And that affected me, because, you know, whenever I would feel something that was similar to that, I'd get that image in my head. So that's probably, I mean, there's several to choose from, but that's probably the one that stuck with me the most. When
we first learned about it, it was on television. We were over at the gym. We were actually on duty that day here at 23s, and a gentleman come back and said, "Hey, you guys see there's a building that blew up in Oklahoma City." We just kind of counted possibly a gas explosion or something like that, and there was no TVs in the back area where we were. We came out front, saw it on TV, and we knew something serious was going on. And the Maine called everybody on the radio and wanted all the stations locked down. They said this is possible terrorism, and so we had to literally for days, you know, the stations were locked, keeping it, because we didn't know if Tulsa was next or who was going to be next. However, after they felt that we were fairly safe here, a lot of us guys went down there to help. It was a very bad scene. It wasn't just the Murrah building, but the buildings surrounding and buildings for blocks out that also had collapsed because of the power of the explosion. Being in a pit of the Murrah building itself, we were where the daycare was, so there was just children's papers. They had colored their names on them. There was actual blood on some of them, and just a very sad situation down there, because you knew what had happened and that those lives were lost along with the adult lives as well.
So whenever you came back home and going back and talking about the daycare and seeing your children being okay and just day to day, seeing them live their lives, what is that like? Do you ever look back on those children?
It makes you appreciate your day to day, you know, how blessed you are. Yeah, don't take that for granted. When 9/11 happened, we were on duty here. We were working a car accident, and a police officer came up and said, "Hey, there's been a plane flew in one of the Twin Towers in New York City." And we're thinking, you know, maybe like a twin-engine Cessna or something. And we got back here to the station, and the guys had it on TV. The other crew was here, and we started watching. And it was right shortly after we walked in the door, the other plane hit the other tower, and realized that it was a bad deal. We was under attack.